Hello friends, and welcome to your Friday Pick a Card with me, Intuitive Rene. Always such an honor and privilege to be here. Thank you so much for coming along and joining in on the reading. As you can see on the table in front of me, I have got two tarot decks laid out, and these are two, I'm going to call them a little bit strange and unusual decks. They're not your typical standard kind of deck that I would use normally on my channel, and I chose these two on purpose because today we're sort of asking the question, WTF, okay? And I have asked this question before in pick a card readings. I think it was probably about a year ago that I did a WTF reading, and sort of repeating that. And it's interesting because the way that this came about was Spirit sort of saying, everybody's asking that question. Everybody's saying, like, what's going on? And I'm not just talking about global events, I'm talking about personal, individual events as well. You know, I look at all the kind of conversations that I'm having with clients at the moment, and just listening to conversations with family members and friends, and everybody's sort of like in this in-between space of what's going on, and nobody's actually at a point where they can make a decision or pick a direction because they don't know what's going on. And we feel like until we know what's going on, we actually can't progress, we can't move forward. So I'm using two, as I said, strange and unusual, non-typical, they're amazing decks, but they're non-typical. I'm using these two today because I feel like I want to climb out of my comfort zone. I feel like we need to face some hard truths. I feel like we need to dig deep, and I feel like these two decks are going to do that for us. And I've got three little yellow charms that I have put onto the table in front of us as well. So we've got a little Care Bear, and the Care Bear has a cupcake on their tummy because Care Bears need cupcakes on their tummies. I have a kissy face emoji because, again, we all need some love in our lives and we all need some kissy emojis. And I got bananas because bananas are good for you. And I chose it because it was yellow. I realized I was having a yellow theme happening, and once I had picked those two charms, I realized, okay, well, yellow is the theme, I need something yellow, and that was the only other same sized yellow charm that I have, so bananas it is. So friends, we know the theme of today's reading, and it is what's going on, what is happening in our worlds. And as I said, this is not just on a global perspective, but on a personal perspective as well. So if you're questioning yourself, questioning life, questioning situations, if you're looking at things in your life going, what's going on, you know, WTF, if you're having those moments, then this is definitely the reading that you need to pay attention to. The three charms that I have displayed in front there, pick one. Okay, allow yourself to be drawn to one of them. And you know, they're all yellow, so it's not going to be based on color. So let it be based on what they symbolize, whatever they symbolize for you. And if you're drawn to more than one, then that's fine as well. I'm going to do three identical readings. They will have the same questions, they will have the same structure, they will use the same cards, but obviously the cards that are going to come through are going to be different for each one of the three. And once you know, based on the symbols, which one you're going for, then that reading will be the relevant one for you. And I'm hoping it's going to make sense, and I'm hoping it's going to help you identify what's going on in your life. So from these two decks, let me explain the two decks. This one over here, and you might be able to see it on the back, it is the Urban Tarot. And the Urban Tarot is quite a modern deck. It is a Thoth-based tarot deck. So if you are familiar with tarot and you understand the different tarot systems, this is a Thoth-based deck. But the artwork is quite modern and quite relevant to help us understand, you know, life. And then this deck is not a very popular or well-known deck, but it is an incredible deck. And this one is the Wheel of Change Tarot. And I thought the Wheel of Change Tarot would be quite appropriate considering the topic and considering the questions that we're asking today. So these are the two decks that I'm going to work with. I'm going to use the Urban Tarot to get a kind of theme, overall kind of gist, and then we're going to use the Wheel of Change to get the detail and the understanding from the deck, or from the spread. So all you have to do at this point is decide which of the three charms is the one that you're drawn to, which of the three charms is the one that you want, the one that you need, and the one that you are going to be reading or going to. And then if you open up the either the time bar or the description bar below, you will have timestamps to take you to the Care Bear, to take you to the emoji or to take you to that bananas. I know, I can't wrap my head around the bananas either, but just, you know what, it is what it is. We're using bananas today. I think you all need to go out and get a good dose of potassium and eat your bananas. All right. So friends, let's get straight into your reading. Remember, if you do enjoy your reading, if it resonates with you, remember to give the video a thumbs up. And as always, I love a comment from you below. And we're going to start straight with Care Bears. So welcome to those of you who have chosen the Care Bear as the symbol for the reading that is relevant and appropriate to you today. Welcome. So I'm going to rearrange the table a little bit. I'm just going to move that deck out the way. We're going to start with the Urban Tarot, and as I'm just going to draw a single card from this particular deck, it is incredibly, you can see by the size of my hand how long this deck is, so shuffling is always a challenge, and I hope I don't bump the camera because I'm going, whoops, you see what I mean? Do you see what I mean? Not only have I thrown the cards across, but I have bumped our cute little, I can't think what it's called, Care Bear. All right, let's try this again. So I am shuffling the Urban Tarot, long and skinny tarot deck, and I'm shuffling it looking for a single card. It's not going to be that one. I know when I'm shuffling if a card jumps, I know if it's the one that I need or if it is just one that's dropping because it's my bad shuffling. So let's try it this way. I should have practiced shuffling before I started recording. There we go. That was a bit easier. Let's do that again. So I'm looking for a single card from this particular deck, and the single card is going to give us the overall theme around what's going on in your life and what is it that you need to know, what is it that you need to be aware of. Gosh, these cards are so long. Right, single card for Care Bears. Let's see, shuffle, cut, and take one off the top. Right, I'm going to put those out of the way. This is going to give us the theme for what is going on in your life at the moment. And as I said earlier on, this could be for you around the global events, or it could be around personal events. You will interpret it however you need to, however you want to, and however is relevant for you. But what is going on in your life at the moment? Look at that. We've got the Knight of Wands, and here we have a rock star, and he is rocking out. And you can see the little key phrase at the bottom is the rock star. Now, what we have to understand by the rock star, immediately what I'm getting from it is, you know, somebody who lives life on the edge, somebody who takes things a little bit too far sometimes, somebody who doesn't know when to stop or when is enough, and constantly chasing that thrill, chasing that excitement, chasing the adrenaline of a situation and of a circumstance, and just going, constantly trying to improve. But it's always about the show. It's always about the presentation. It's always about the appearance and what people are perceiving and understanding about the performance that you are giving. I think performance is the word that I was looking for. So it's always about the performance. It's always about, you know, the entertaining people and putting on the performance of a lifetime. So for each one of you who have chosen the Care Bears, one thing that Spirit is saying to you right now is, with regards to what's going on in your life, it's about recognizing and understanding that whatever it is, it's just a performance. So as I said, you will know what specifically this relates to in your life, and you will know if what we are relating to, if it's a global event, if it's a personal event, if it's a work event, if it's a family event, you will know what event it relates to, and you will know then, based on that, what it means when we talk about it. It's just a performance, okay? It is just a performance. And the person that you see on stage, the person who is giving the performance of a lifetime, you know, what you're seeing of them, what they're portraying of themselves, may not be an accurate depiction of who they truly are. So, you know, the persona that is brought forward on a performance is a put on performance, a put on persona. And yes, there may be some similarities with the performer and with them being who they are, but it could also just be I want to say a con, but you know what I mean when I say, I don't mean a con specifically, but it is just a performance. It is just a show that they are putting on. All right, so I've got 5 questions that we're going to ask from this particular tarot deck. And I am just trying to make sure that it gets a really, really good, thorough shuffle. And I'm going to lay out the 5 cards. The first one, so what is going on? Whatever it is, it's a performance. The next one, I just want to cut the deck over there. And actually, I'm going to turn that one over. Oh, we've got the Lovers. Oh, that's interesting. I'm just going to lay out the other 5 just so I can get the deck out of the way. There's a bit of glare there. I'm hoping it's not going to be too bad. And here we have those. Right. Tarot deck is out of the way. So we've got the rock star, we've got the performance, we've got the kind of energies associated with that. What is the current energy around you at the moment? And it's almost like with the Lovers card, it's almost like we're trying to blend and handle and cope between the yin and the yang energies. The Lovers is about coming together, but it's coming together from a place of truth, from a place of honesty, and a place of integrity. And it's also recognizing that the two people coming together are as polar opposite as day and night. So here we've got, if you look in the background here, we've definitely got nighttime, and she's got the moon behind her. And this person over here is daytime with the sun behind them. If we look at the 2 trees in the background, the 2 trees are also different seasons. Okay, so we've got completely different seasons, we've got completely different colors, but what we do have, and the most important thing here, is the blending of opposites. So in order for us, because this is answering the question of the current energy around you at the moment, so the energy around you at the moment is almost like we're trying to find a balance, we're trying to find a compromise, we're trying to find a way of working together. But while we're trying to find a way of working together, somebody's putting on a rock show. Okay, somebody is putting on a performance of a lifetime. So how easy or difficult is it to find our blend, to find our balance, to find our union, to come together in the way that we need to when somebody's performing, instead of being honest and pure in who and what they are? So we need to be very mindful. The energy around you, it seems like there's this union, it seems like there's this coming together of opposites, of opposing forces, coming together of opposing forces, but somebody's not being true to who and what they truly are. They're putting on a performance that they know is expected of them, and it might not be really who and what they are. I'm going to shift that card down there just because I'm trying to avoid what I do all the time, trying to avoid the glare. I don't know how it's going to work. I'm going to turn it over now and see. But I think down the bottom here there will be less glare with those. All right. Our second question, our second card position here is, why are we having this experience? Why are we going WTF? Why are we questioning everything? And why is everything so challenging and so difficult? Why are we putting up with this performance? Why is it that we're having this experience? And what we have here is the 5 of Wands. I love this. So again, I mean, this artwork just really just speaks volumes in itself. So we have got what looks like the globe, what looks like the earth, and we have got these 5 pillars, five corners of a ball, and all of them are on a line, and there's a common and there's difference, but there's a swap over every time. If you look at the ribbons over here, we've got orange on top and red at the bottom, red on top, orange at the bottom. We've got white on this side, black on that side, and then it swaps over on this end. And everything swaps over here in the center. And the reason for this, now 5 of Wands in traditional tarot, there goes that glare. How about if I move you that way and I bring them over? There we go. I think we're less glary that way. So excuse the big empty space on the table there. So 5 of Wands traditionally, typically in the tarot community, in the tarot understandings, interpretations, is about conflict. It's about chaos. It's about everybody attacking everybody, but nobody working together. No teamwork or compatibilities. It's just this one against that one, against that one, against that one, instead of actually coming together as a unit or coming together as a collective and say, hey, what are we doing? Let's work together, as opposed to everybody just feeding their own egos, if I can put it that way. And isn't that again what the rock show is all about? The rock show is about me on my own. Yes, he has a band behind him, but the band is often not as well known and not as famous and as popular as the lead singer or as the main character. So the situation for you at the moment, the WTF that you're going through at the moment, it is about trying to, almost this battle of wills. Yes, we want to come together. Yes, we want to work together, but we can't work together while the show is going on, because everybody's got their own agenda. Everybody's got their own agenda and everybody's working towards their own thing, instead of actually stopping the boat and saying, right, what are we doing here? Okay, what are you doing? Because I'm doing this. What are you doing? And what are you doing? And what are you doing? And if we came together, it'd be amazing actually what we could achieve as a collective instead of every person just being on their own agenda. So, why is this going on? Because we're all fighting our own agendas. We're all focusing on the self, focusing on the individual instead of looking at the collective situation. And until we change the focus to be the collective, to understanding, I want to say, the truth of what's really important, the situation's not going to resolve itself. So the current energy around you is a compromise is needed, a coming together compromise is needed. We're wanting it, but we don't know how because somebody's putting on a performance which is throwing us off a little bit and we're uncertain. Why and what for? Because everybody's got their own agendas, and until that changes, we're not going to achieve the things that we need to. And our next card, need to read the question, the best way to handle. Okay, so what is the best way to handle this WTF moment in your life right now? And the card we have is the Chariot. So here we have solar systems, we have wheels, cogwheels turning. Okay, we've even got, all these paths that lead to the center space again. And the Chariot is the card of telling you, change is inevitable. It's happening whether you like it or not. It is happening. We cannot stop it. There's no stopping it. All right, so don't even try. What we need to recognize is that the wheel is already in motion. Things are already playing out and happening, and all you have to do is go along for the ride. But you also have to make sure that you are focused. You have to make sure that you're very much aware of what is taking place and the role that you play in that. So don't try and go against the stream. Don't try and go against the grain. It's time for you to recognize the evolution is inevitable. We can't stop it. We can't change it. We can't, change the direction. It's already started. But what you have to do is stay focused on the bigger picture, on the global scenario, on the big event. And if you can focus on that, we'll all get through this okay. So your particular WTF moment that is happening, the best way to handle it is to just stay focused on end goal. Don't get too caught up in the craziness on the in between. Don't get too caught up on this particular performance, but we want to be looking at all the performances as a collective in order to understand the situation, and that is the best way to handle it. Now, this is an interesting question because what Spirit said to me is we need to ask, when will all of this shift? So we're not asking when will it end, okay? When will it shift? Based on the information we already have, when will it shift into the next space, into the next place, into the next era? When will it shift? And what we've got is the Three of Cups. I love this. Oh my gosh, I love this. So for you, WTF, what is going on in your life? Situation will only shift when we learn to play together, when we learn to play nice, when we learn to care bear for each other, when we learn to care for each other, when we learn to cater for each other and to be mindful of each other. Because the Three of Cups is about communities coming together, gatherings coming together, celebrating and enjoying life in the way that it should be, but celebrating with the people who matter, not the people who don't matter, but the people who matter. I'm pointing to that card because that is the card where everybody has their own agenda. Everybody has their own motives. Everybody's fighting for their own benefit instead of coming together and fighting or working for the collective. So friends, for you who chose the Care Bear, the situation that you're facing at the moment, the thing that's happening in your life, whether it's global, whether it's local, whether it's personal, the situation that's happening in your life that's making you go like WTF, you need to understand that there's a lot of ego involved. And until we separate that ego, until we pull it out, until we ignore it, and I keep using air quotes because it's the things that we need to do. As soon as you ignore it, as soon as you stop feeding the dragon will go away. And then we can come together from a place of love, from a place of truth, from a place of integrity and honesty, and together we can achieve so much. But if we're all trying to do it independently, individually, there's too many cooks and too many chefs in the kitchen, and we're just ending up with a mess. So that's the situation at the moment. Let's focus on the collective, the big story, and not just on the one single performance. Okay. And finally here, for each one of you, the last question is what's next? Okay. So based on all of this, we've looked at when it's going to start shifting. We've looked at what the situation is. So what's next for all of you? And the card we have here is the Six of Swords. it's moving on. You know, it's moving on. It's recognizing when we're done. It's recognizing that we've achieved enough, that we've accomplished what we needed to, what we set out to, and it's also recognizing that, okay, so we've taken everything that we need to. We have all the tools and everything that we desire, and once we've accomplished whatever we need to accomplish, once we've achieved everything we need to achieve, the next logical step is to stop being greedy and to just move on, recognizing once you've achieved. And I'm actually going to leave it there because I think it speaks quite nicely to what's next for each one of you. So what's next is moving on to a better world, a better place, a different place, a place where we're no longer fighting. And it's interesting that this particular card depicts a wounded animal, a hunted animal. Yes, that animal's going to bring a lot of food and warmth and, you know, all of those other kind of natural things that we need in life. But it's also then, if we're greedy and if we're all fighting for our own ego, it's like everybody's going to want their own animal, whereas one animal can actually feed the whole village. So it's about trying to understand, where is your truth? When is it enough? And let's not fight for more. Let's not be greedy. Let's not feed the ego. Let's take just what we need and then call it quits and move on. And I think that's exactly what's going on here. When I look at this card as well, I'm also seeing that it's the seasons changing, okay? And if we look, you can see that the snow is starting to melt and, you know, everything's starting to shift from winter to summer. You know, things are shifting. For us here in the Southern Hemisphere, we're going from summer into our winter. So our days are getting shorter, the nights are getting longer, the darkness is coming in. And we need to be aware of that, because when it is winter, it's our quieter, somber time. It's not the time to get up and get busy and get crazy. So it is about recognizing the environment and what's happening around you. And I think that's why we had the Chariot card. It's telling you to stay focused on the big picture, stay focused on the big scenario, and don't do things that you may regret. But it's also about recognizing, let's not be greedy. Let's not bring ego into the situation. So friends, for all of you, your WTF moment, you were saying, like, what is going on in my life? Please recognize the ego. Please recognize the performance. Don't judge the single performance. We want to judge the collective. We want to judge the whole situation. You want to look at the whole situation, but you also want to recognize that sometimes a performance is necessary. We don't need to, just because you're a rock star, doesn't mean that you need to be performing 24/7. There's a time and a place, and it's called a concert. And everybody goes for the performance and then they go home. Everybody goes for the performance and then they go home. So it's about recognizing, when is the actions relevant, when are the actions necessary, and at any other time, let's focus on love. Let's focus on coming together. Let's focus on union. Let's focus on the things that truly matter. And if you can do that, you will overcome your WTF. All right. Lots of love and blessings, friends. I hope that helps you. I hope that helps you navigate whatever it is that you are struggling with in life at the moment. And I hope it helps you clear up your WTF. With love and blessings from my heart to yours. And until we connect again, take care. And an extra special welcome to those of you who have chosen the kiss emoji as the symbol that has the message, the reading, the guidance that you need today in answering WTF. What is going on in your life at the moment? So if our first reading is anything to go by, it's going to be interesting. So friends, I've got the two decks here on the table. I've just pushed this one out the way a little bit. I want to grab a single card from the Urban Tarot. These cards are gigantic if you look in comparison to the size of my hand. So shuffling them is a bit of a challenge. I can barely even get my hands to hold them that way. So I am going to shuffle in the best way I can. And again, for the first reading, it was funny. I'm just going to leave it there. It was something else. So let's shuffle these as best we can. While I'm shuffling, I'm looking for a single card from the Urban Tarot. And the single card that's going to give us our, let's call it just a bit of like, what is the WTF? Like, what is actually going on in your life at the moment that is making you go WTF? So I'm just going to do one more little shuffle, and then I'm going to grab a card from this deck. Now, I am going to say to you, if you didn't watch the intro, this particular deck, both of these that I'm working with are not your typical average kind of tarot. These are a little bit different, okay? A little bit non-typical. Just cutting the deck, taking a single card, and I'm going to put the rest of it out of the way. So this is going to give us, like, almost, if I can say, what is causing or creating the WTF in your life. I am going to say to you that obviously I'm not going to give a specific label for it. You will have to create that association for yourself. And if what's on your mind, if your thought processes is on a global, then this will be about global. If it's on a local, then it'll be about local. If it's personal, it'll be personal. You'll make the association for yourself. So let's have a look. What is this WTF that you are thinking and feeling in your life at the moment? Can I just show you the keyword? Disappointment. Here we have a vase of flowers which has been knocked off. We have this beautiful cabinet with fine china, but it is shattered and broken. You can see even the glass doors are shattered and broken, and there's just mayhem all over the place, just absolute mayhem all over the place. And you know what, the card of disappointment, it's going to live over here. I'm just going to leave it there, then it's out of the way. We're not talking about a single event. It may have been a whole series of events which has created or caused or brought about the disappointment that you're experiencing. But something has happened in your life which has disappointed you, and that's what made you, and not only has it disappointed you, but I think it's taken you by surprise. And that's why you're going like, WTF, what is going on here? So very interesting how disappointment is coming through as what is creating and causing you having this WTF moment that you are having at the moment. All right, I just want to give the cards a nice shuffle if I can, just to make sure that we are bringing through. I need to get my fingers in the right places. Just want to make sure that we are bringing through the relevant cards in answering what this disappointment is, where this disappointment is coming from, and how this disappointment is relevant to every single one of you. Okay. Cards are shuffled, says she's shuffling some more. So I've got 5 questions that we're going to be asking, and I'm going to lay out 5 cards, and they will all be read around disappointment in trying to understand not only what your WTF is, but how best to work through it, how best to handle it, and also what to look forward to or what to look out for after it is all said and done. Right, let's cut the deck over there, and I'm going to turn the first one over. We've got the Hermit. And with the second card, there is a bit of glare, so I'm avoiding that area of the table because there is a little bit of glare, and these ones we can just place like that. You can see the glare coming through there. So, right, cards are out of the way. So friends, let's have a look. So what is the current energy around you? So remember, we've got this disappointment. So everything is around the disappointment. Everything is about the disappointment. But the energy around you at the moment is the energy of solitude, where you feel like you're completely on your own. You feel like there's nobody's got your back, nobody's got your support. You feel as if you're having to stand on your own and do everything on your own, by yourself, for yourself, and you feel as if there's no support. Now, I want you to have a close look at this Hermit card. I mean, first of all, he is just so amazing. Even though he's so on his own, even though he is isolated, he has actually chosen to put himself in this situation, okay? He has chosen to put himself in this situation of being isolated because he's so tired of the disappointments. He's so tired of things not working out the way that they were supposed to. He's so tired of people taking advantage of him that he's like, I'm not doing it anymore. And he has chosen to withdraw himself. Like, I don't know if withdraw himself is the right word, but he's chosen to not rely on anybody. He's not allowing himself to get hurt or disappointed by anybody else's lack of attention, behavior, or actions. He's sort of saying, you know what, the only person I can trust and believe in is myself. So I'm just going to get on and do that. I'm not going to allow myself to be influenced, affected, or anything by anybody else. So the energy around you at the moment is one of, I am not allowing myself to get hurt, to get disappointed, betrayed, or anything again. So I'm just going to isolate myself, separate myself. I'm going to say, like, what, WTF, I don't know what's going on there, but I am pulling away. So that is the situation that you're experiencing right now. Why are you having this experience? Because you know what, understanding the answer to the question WTF is one thing, but understanding from a soul perspective as to why you're needing this experience, why you're needing to have this moment, this thought, this understanding. Let's have a look. So why are you having this experience? And it's a bit difficult to see. It's the Knight of Swords. Now let's just have a look at him. So he's a bit of a scientist. I mean, he even has a bit of brain on the table. Here we've got kissy emojis, and he's like slicing brains open. But look what's happening here. We've got some light refraction happening. We've got some smoke happening. We've got some chemistry symbols and maths taking place. We've got some secret drawers happening. And yet he's doing science. So Knight of Swords is all about taking it all in. It's all about it's all a little bit just too much. What is he actually doing? Is this the experiment? Is this the experiment? Is this the experiment? Is this it? Like, and even in the textbook, there's just so much going on. I want you to see this little pink thing right down here. Science lecture series. So not only is he doing, he's teaching, he's exploring, he's experimenting. I mean, there's just a whole lot, but everything is happening here in the head. Okay, so why are you having the experiences that you are having? Why are you questioning? Why is there this disappointment? Why are you feeling like you need to separate yourself? Because you've got to learn how things work. We've got to play out all scenarios. We've got to play out all kind of experiences, like, you know, all the what if analysis, all the what if scenarios. It's almost like you are needing to have this experience that you're going through at the moment, because it brings it down to learning, experiments. Because if you don't try things and see how it works, how will you ever know? If we drive the same road over and over and over again, eventually we actually create a groove, and eventually we get stuck in that rut, get stuck in that groove. Whereas if we experiment and try different things and climb out of our comfort zones and, you know, experience things, maybe we actually learn that the stuff that we thought was relevant and important to us actually holds no value. But while it has all our attention, and while all our value and all our hopes and all our everything is on the fine china, you know, obviously we're limited and restricted to thinking that fine china equals happiness. But when the fine china is no longer there, and we've shifted and allowed ourselves to try filling the cabinet with something else, may bring us more joy, it may bring us more happiness. But it's time for you to make these decisions. It's time for you to work through this on your own and not rely on other people, because on both of these we've got a single individual working on themselves, doing things for themselves, and not really focusing on everybody else. Okay. Question 3, or our third card position, is what is the best way for you to handle your WTF situation that you're going through at the moment? So what is the best way for you to handle it? And what we have here is the 2 of Cups. So here we have this beautiful table setting, 2 champagne glasses, we've got beautiful flowers, we've got a whole bottle of champagne. And here we even have, you know, 2 ribbons coming together. We've got, I don't know if that's, oh, it's strawberries. I don't know if it's going to see, but it's a bowl of strawberries. So it's about partnership, joining, connection. It's about 2 people coming together. It's about that union that needs to happen. So interesting. What was the question? The best way for you to handle it. So this is the energy around you, and this is you separating yourself from the situation. We ask Spirit, what is the best way for you to handle it? And Spirit is saying, union. We need to work together. We need to get together. We need to work with each other. So the disappointment that you're experiencing, running away, hiding, avoiding, isolating yourself from that situation is not the best way to handle it. Yes, we need to explore options. Yes, we need to, you know, experiment with different methods and processes and hows and whys and what fors. But the best way for you to do that, Spirit is saying, is to do it with a partnership or a union or a connection with another person. And it's interesting, you know, the emoji that I chose, but that you chose, that brought you here, is the kissy face emoji. Because isn't that about, you know, showing love, showing acceptance, showing appreciation for another person? So instead of isolating yourself and withdrawing, this is Spirit saying, go towards, okay? But learn, you know, try different ways, try different things, try it from a different perspective and a different angle. And if you can do that, you'll be amazed at what you will actually achieve, and you will then eliminate the WTF disappointment situation. Right, card 4. When will all of this shift? When will all of this change? Let's have a look and see, when will all of this shift and change for you? We have got the Knight of Wands. I love this. So here we have a guy who is creating fire. I'm trying to see, what is this in his hand? Oh, okay. He's got a meditation tool. I'm forgetting the official name of it, but these two work together as a form of in meditation, in contemplation, in retrospection. And he's sitting in front of a flame, but he is focusing on himself. Now, it's interesting, these two, I'm connecting them together. So the Knight of Wands, he's not rushing into anything. He's not charging ahead. He's actually being still. He's being quiet. He's focusing on introspection in order to understand the lessons, to understand the union, in order to overcome the disappointment. So when will this whole thing shift? This is Spirit saying to you, not very quickly, okay? This whole situation that you're going through at the moment, it's not one that's going to ease up very quickly. It's not one that's going to ease up overnight, but it'll only ease up when you stop running away and actually see the whole situation for what it is, for how it is, and allow that to be the way that it needs to be for you. But I think the whole message behind this card is just, we're not stopping, okay? We're just pausing. We're just putting a pause, and we're just taking a minute. We're taking a minute to breathe, to center ourselves, to just exhale. And if you don't take the time to exhale, if you don't take the time to release the stress, to release the worries, to release everything, the disappointment just keeps getting worse. So let's learn by stopping, by slowing down, by observing our thoughts, our feelings, our WTFs, and maybe realizing that if we spend more time with somebody else, with anybody else, with another significant individual, it makes the whole process easier, makes the whole process better and less disappointing. And finally, the message here is what's next for you. Once we've overcome our current WTF, and as I said, the WTF here, it could be depending on how you came into this. Were you thinking on a global level? Were you thinking personal? Were you thinking of a particular situation? Whatever it was, this is what's next. Okay, so once we've overcome, understood, resolved our WTF situation, what's next thereafter? And for each one of you, we have the Prince of Wands. So here he stands in front of his totem pole. And look at him with his, I don't know, is that a sword or a stick? I'm going to go with the sword, okay? He's at the ocean. He is connecting with earth. We have got every single element represented in this card. We have got fire, we have got air, we have got earth, and we have got water. We've got ether, okay? We've got every single element represented in this particular card. And the message here is that it'll all come together perfectly. And we can't ever focus just on one element or one aspect or one part of. When we do that, that's when we set ourselves up for disappointment. So the message of what's next for you is saying, when we stop focusing on the insignificant, when we stop focusing on the disappointments and the little things that go wrong, when we broaden our horizons in focusing more on what truly matters, when we learn to do things a little bit differently and we learn to connect with other people from a place of love, from a place of integrity, honesty, and truth, suddenly everything just works. You know, the ecosystem of life just works. But when you're putting more focus and more attention to one element and taking away from the others, that's when the disappointment comes through. So for each one of you, whatever your WTF situation is, the Spirit is saying, once you let go of the control, once you let go of the disappointment, once you recognize and learn how to do things and handle things a bit differently, everything just falls into place. And there's cohesion, and there's happiness, and there's joy, and there's life force. But you need to recognize that we need all elements. We cannot be single element people, individuals, or situations. We have to bring all the elements in. And when we do, when we honor and respect all the elements within ourselves, internally and externally, suddenly there's no disappointment, because suddenly love, I'm pointing to both of these, because suddenly love is the answer. Love is all that matters. Love is what there is. So friends, I hope this helps. I hope this helps you to work through your own WTF. I hope this helps you to understand whatever it is that you're going through, and that it gives you the encouragement and the tools that you need to just step beyond. With love and blessings, from my heart to yours. And until we connect again, take care, friends. and welcome to those of you who have chosen my bunch of bananas as the symbol of whatever this reading may be, and that it is the one that you need to hear and to know about today. Welcome. I think you've probably arrived here because of process of elimination, that the other two symbols maybe weren't quite what you were looking for, and because there was nothing else you hear, or because you're curious. I'm going there. And you're curious to see what bananas are all about. So, friends, I have got the two decks on the table here with me. I've moved the, I never know what it's called, the Wheel of Change Tarot out of the way ever so slightly. And I'm now going to work with the Urban Tarot first. And I'm going to draw just a single card. Now, this deck is gigantic. I mean, in comparison to my hand, you can see I can't even get my fingers comfortably around it because it is such a long and skinny deck. So shuffling is always a challenge. So bear with me as I try and give it just a little bit of a shuffle on camera now. And let's just see if this is going to work. When I did Bundle 1's reading, when I did the KB, I shuffled so badly. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. All right, cards are shuffled. I have obviously been shuffling them for a while, but I just want to give a little shuffle while I have you here, just to make sure that the cards have an opportunity to come out in whichever way they need. And from this particular deck, I'm just looking for a single card. So I'm not looking for a lot. I just want one card that is going to give us what the WTF is. So let's cut the deck. I'm looking for a feeling here. I'm going to take it there, and I'm taking that one straight off the top. So, deck out of the way. Let's have a look. What is this WTF? What in your life is making you go WTF? Let's have a look and see what we've got. Queen of Swords. Now, let's look at this picture. Let's analyze the picture a little bit. First of all, look how, I'm going to call her focused and distracted she actually is. You can see here the key phrase across the bottom is that she is a painter. So she is an artist, okay? And she's looking for inspiration. Have you ever been in your life where you needed to do something that you're really good at? You needed to do something that you needed to do. I mean, she's got all her paints and her art and her easel and her paintbrush. She's got everything ready, but it's just not happening. You know, I have that quite a lot, especially when it's my own insecurities and my doubts, and when I get too stuck in my head with everything I think, and you start overthinking things. And as soon as you start overthinking things, you seem to lose your train of thought, your inspiration, your mojo. So I am taking, for each one of you who chose the bananas, I'm going to laugh every time I say the bananas, because I think it's a little bit silly, but I think that's exactly what we needed, is when things are so simple, but it's so simple it's actually quite funny. And I think that is the message that's coming through. So she needs to be inspirational. She needs to feel inspired. She needs to produce something. She needs to do something. But that pressure of needing to do it and of it needing to be perfect is quite overwhelming, and because of that, she's overanalyzing, she's overthinking things, and she actually now has lost her mojo. So while I'm chatting about that, I am now grabbing the Wheel of Change Tarot. I never remember what this deck is called. And I'm going to draw out 5 cards from this deck, which are going to give us the details. So when I look at, from the Urban Tarot, the Queen of Swords there, she's really strong in her thinking. She's really strong in her resolve, in her understanding. And she's certainly clever. She's smart. She's intelligent. She's got all those kind of things figured out. But what she's lacking is, sorry, my fingers don't want to bend. She's got herself so stuck in her preconceived ideas and her thoughts that she's missed the object completely. So as far as each one of you watching right now, trying to understand where in your life are you going WTF? So she knows her ability, she knows what she's capable of, but she's not able to produce, she's not able to create. And that's why she's questioning herself, and she's questioning her own values and her own self, and she's going, why can't I do this? Like, I should be able to do this. Why can't I do this? She's overthinking. So friends, when we're looking at our WTF now for every single one of you, you came into this place, you came into this reading, you may have had a train of thought. You may have had an idea of something happening in your mind. And whether it's been a WTF or not, we will certainly see. But understand that whatever comes through here, it could be relating to a situation in your life. It could be relating to you personally, or it could be even on a global level. Whatever you're looking at or thinking about in life, going, what's going on here? This is what this particular reading is going to be dealing with. And it's something where it should be so easy. The answer, the process, the outcome, it should be so easy. It should be so simple. But for some reason, we're just not quite getting there. The energy around you at the moment, what we have here is the Ace of Wands. And here we have a beautiful maple. And you know, maple is something that symbolizes beginnings, opportunities, circumstances. And also it symbolizes the coming together. It symbolizes, you know, change of seasons and change of scenarios, but it symbolizes each ribbon, each string represents a person, represents somebody who contributes to the pole, and they work together and they weave together to create something absolutely beautiful, which then stands as a symbol for whatever it is that they stand for. Okay, I don't know the full story. Google maypole if you need to. But the Ace of Wands is about this new energy coming through, this new creative force, new creative energy, which ties in with our painter so beautifully. But in the particular case here of the painter, she certainly has the ability, she certainly has the knowledge, she certainly has all of that, but she's forgotten how. So it's like if you imagine every single one of these ribbons, there's a person standing on the other end, and suddenly everybody's going, how do we start? Who goes first? Like, do you go over, or do I go under, or do I go over, or you go under? There's this kind of like nobody knows what to do. Okay, and that's the situation of the energy around you at the moment. And because it's something that you've probably done 1,000 times in your life, 1,000,000 times in your life, so often, you know, you're sort of looking at yourself going, why is it so difficult all of a sudden? Or why, you know, WTF, okay? So that's why you are where you are right now. All right, I just want to explain, as I laid out the cards, I've sort of ignored this whole area here because that's where the glare is. So I'm ignoring that part of the table just to avoid the glare, and that's why I've positioned the cards in the way that I have, just to save you from a bit of card glare. All right, our second card. The question we're asking here is why? Why are we having this block? Why are we having this WTF moment? What is the purpose behind you having this experience right now? Okay, we have got the Four of Discs. Four of Discs in traditional tarot would be the Four of Pentacles. And if we have a look at it, I mean, it's almost like we've got a bit of a mandala situation here, because it's like we've got a kaleidoscope, I should actually say, where everything sort of is, it's one, but it's four, but it's one, but it's four, okay? And there are some differences, but it also like everything sort of coming together to there. I'm seeing that we've got these kind of sticks creating this square structure, and our fruit and our discs and our stuff is contained inside of that structure. So the Four of Discs, or the Four of Pentacles in traditional tarot, is about knowing when to hold and when to let go, when to hold on to something and when to let go. You know, everything in life is about the right time, you know, doing things at the right time, doing things at the right moment. If you start too early, you know, you're going to be too soon, too quick, and it's going to not be ready. But if you wait too late, it's going to be too late. So everything is about that fine balance of timing. And I do think that's what this is saying to you. So even though you know what needs to be done, you want to do it, you're super eager, super ready, super appropriate, you know, everything's lined up, everybody has their ribbon, everybody's holding their ribbon, but nobody's moving because it's not the right time. And this is what the Four of Pentacles here, or the Four of Discs, is saying to you, is understand the timing. And isn't it so appropriate? I have to giggle that we've got bananas. You know, bananas, I mean, yes, you can eat them before they're ripe and they still taste okay. And you can even eat an overripe banana and it still tastes okay, but it's always not the greatest. There's like a really small window of opportunity where our bananas are just perfect. And you know, yes, you can eat early, you can eat late, and it's not awful, but bananas have that kind of small window, like avocados. You know, avocado pears, there's a small window. If you blink, you generally miss it, and then they're overripe and all the rest of it. But here we know what we need to do, we know how we want to do it, we've got all the information that we need. It's not happening, it's not coming together, it's not unfolding because it's just not the right time. So we need to time it perfectly. And our third card is, what is the best way to proceed? What is the best way to handle your WTF moment? And friends, what we have here, oh wow, look at this. this is an interesting card. This is the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune is basically saying to you that you will know when it's the right time. You've got to trust. You've got to trust in spirit. You've got to trust in yourself. You've got to trust in the circumstance. You've got to trust in the situation. Don't force anything, because if you force something, you are going to attract negative karma, negative situations. So the wheel turns, the wheel spins, the wheel just keeps going, and you need to be in control. You need to be part of, and you need to participate without forcing, without slowing down, without aggravating or initiating anything. So this card is talking to this card as well, and it's saying patience, patience. You will know when the time is right. And suddenly, as I'm looking at this particular card again, I noticed the stripes here. And to me, it's like the sun coming in the window, okay? So we've got the sunlight filtering in the window, and when when the lighting is just so perfect, that's when her inspiration will strike, because she'll look at an object and it'll be just an ordinary plain object until the light catches it in a certain way. And suddenly, as an artist, she's going to see like, wow, okay? And that's when the inspiration strikes, and that's when she gets going. So it's interesting how I suddenly noticed the beams of light and the beams of light changing the circumstance and the situation. And when I look at all of this, it's about, even here is the circle of light, and you can see the light coming off it in all directions. So far, everything is just about timing. It's all about timing. So friends, for those of you who chose the banana, whatever it is that you're going through in life at the moment, whatever it is that's causing you to go, WTF, just understand that it all comes down to timing. Okay, it all comes down to timing. Fourth one, when timing. And the question is when. When will all of this happen? When will your WTF unfold, expire, stop, resolve, or whatever it is? When is the question. And we have the Six of Swords. So the Six of Swords is about moving on. The Six of Swords is about giving up and moving away. It's like when you suddenly realize, you know what, it's done. I've achieved, I've accomplished, there's no more here for me, okay? When you've taken the kill, when you've accomplished whatever it is that you've set out to accomplish, when you have everything that you need. So once you've taken from the animal whatever it is you need, you will know that that's the time to move on. So as far as your when goes, it's at the change of seasons. Okay, it's at the change of seasons, but it's also about recognizing that you have accomplished your objectives. So when will your WTF end? When will your WTF sort of resolve itself? It's when you've accomplished and achieved the bare minimum of what you need to accomplish and achieve. So going back to this particular card, and I know that this could be a triggering image for a lot of us, but I think it's understanding, I'm going to call it out in nature. You know, you could kill and keep killing and keep killing and keep killing and taking the food for your community, for your village, for your family, or you could just do one and feed the whole village off that one. So are you greedy? Are you an opportunist, or are you somebody who takes the bare minimum? Whatever the situation is, with the changing of the seasons, you need to recognize that your activities need to change. And it's interesting that we've got the maypole there too, because the maypole happens around May, and I think that's why it's called the maypole. Again, my history is not the greatest, so please do Google it if you are curious. But all four of these cards are about timing, are about situations, are about timing, and also about just understanding appropriate activities at appropriate times. So are you forcing yourself to be creative? Are you forcing yourself to produce, achieve, or to create when actually you should be resting? Are you putting that kind of pressure on yourself where you need to create, you need to do, you need to accomplish, you need to achieve, when actually you're so exhausted that actually all you want to do is rest? So it's about understanding outcomes versus energy. And if you put in extra energy, it doesn't mean you're going to have extra outcome. It's all about trying to find the appropriate time in everything that you're doing and waiting for that perfect moment so that you can enjoy, as opposed to being forced to eat a hard banana. All right, and our final card here, friends, what we have with this one is what's next. So once you've figured out the timing, once you've got that banana just perfectly ripe, what's next for you? We have the Four of Wands. I love it. Absolutely love it. That's the six. Oh, we had the four over there as well. Okay, I thought we had another four. So the Four of Wands is about this long road. If you want to look at this, I'm immediately seeing the yellow brick road, and we're seeing that the road is taking us to a whole different world. It's about the commitment. Four of Wands is about the longevity of a situation. The fact that, you know, we make a commitment for the long haul. We don't make a commitment for now. We don't make a commitment for the second. Everything that we do is thinking about the long haul, the long event, the long situation, and understanding that that wheel turns and we're working towards a bigger picture. So we need to change our focus. So when you're looking at your life going, WTF, what's going on? Don't look at an individual circumstance, but we need to understand the timing behind everything. And we need to understand that we need to get the timing just right, because otherwise we're adding complications and challenges on a road which should be smooth sailing, which should be easy. You know, our destiny is simple. We need to just keep going on the road. But when we force ourselves to do things that we're not ready to do, when we force ourselves to do things outside of the appropriate time, you know, we're taking on too much, we're doing too much, and we're attracting a negative karma from it. We need to understand that we are going through a change at the moment, and our road is changing, our destiny is changing, everything is changing. So are you going to force yourself to be something you're not? Are you going to force yourself to eat the bananas before they're perfectly ripe, or are you going to wait so long that you actually miss the opportunity and, you know, you've overshot the bananas? So it is about being honest with yourself around your circumstance. But honestly, when I look at this is Spirit saying to you that there's a long road ahead of you. It's a straight road, it's an easy road, it's a simple road, it's an uncomplicated road. But there is a right time to go, and then there's the right time to stay. When I look at this particular card here, the Six of Swords, it is about changing locations, changing environments, changing places, and understanding that there's this evolution and this movement. So I do think it's about waiting for the perfect time to make the changes that need to be made. Don't rush it, don't force yourself. Wait for that right time. And as soon as you're going with the flow, suddenly the WTF disappears. Suddenly you're not going, what's going on? Suddenly everything works, and our maypole will be absolutely gorgeous. So friends, I hope that helps you. I hope that helps you to understand what it is you need to do to get a little bit more control of your own life right now. And remember, your WTF situation, you came into this, you had a thought in your mind, whether it was a particular situation, a person, a circumstance, or what it was in your life. So I hope this helps you. I hope this helps you to understand that a little bit better, and to understand that everything's going to be okay as long as you don't force the situation. So as always, with love and blessings, from my heart to yours. And until we connect again, take care, friends.